what that is, because those are the plans that we're waiting imminently for. Project. But that's just my guess.
What is this, the second longest structure built by humans in history? So I'm sure there's going to be some surprises. Regarding your comment, just from a personal standpoint,
Louder, please. Can't hear you.
I'm sorry, regarding your comment, I think from a personal standpoint, those of us at the table, we understand about cross-cultural relationship building. And I can tell you from my personal experience working with Mexican colleagues that the border fence issue was something that they came to us individually at a meeting I was at in Veracruz in May, saying, what can you do about this? And we were like, our hands are tied. And so a good portion of that meeting was relationship maintenance with our colleagues that we spent so many years trying to do cross-border collaboration with. So this hasn't been a picnic for any of us. But we are committed to picking up the pieces and moving on and doing as well as we can into the future. But I just think it's important to understand that the people at this table aren't making these calls at this time, and we are in the dark on some of these specifics, just as the public is as well at this time.
Yeah, I understand that, and my concern is that the public and everyone at this table, there's more transparency in general as far as what the plans are. That's what my concern is.
And as far as maintenance, I mean, like, we're constantly doing maintenance on the primary fence because they keep attacking that fence from the south. They cut it, they cut holes, and so we need a road to get any part of the fence because they keep cutting it. And there's nothing we can do on our side because they cut it from the south side and we have no way to stop them. And they keep cutting our fence up.
And if access on the beaches is the outcome of that known, is the design for the fence down onto the beach?
Well, if you look behind you, you'll see that it doesn't go all the way into the second fence doesn't go all the way into the ocean. At least that's based on the version. Is that your understanding too? That's true.
So the assumption is that people would continue to be able to meet with each other, for instance, down on the beach? Or?
I would not make that assumption, no.
Okay.
Yeah, especially since there's a sign there now that says no trespassing.
So even though the second fence wouldn't be extended into the ocean,
There'll be a sign there that says federal property, no trespassing.
And that would be patrolled and supervised.
Yes.
Right now you can reach your arms through.
Oh, sure.
Between
So by
Yeah, you can do more than that.
I think, just for your information, I think one of the reasons that it's not on the beach is anytime you put anything on the beach, it moves around.
Yeah.
With our little turn signs, we have to move them and replace them all the time. So it's a dynamic system. So
It's hard to build in sand.
I'm sorry.
It's hard to build in sand.
Dan, any other questions that we haven't either said we're stupid on or answered?
No, I think it's everything's been covered. Just the last request is that the management authority and the public be provided with the current statement or work and the current design in some way. I realize that we possibly have a meeting coming and what have you, but if there was any way that the public could be kept up to date, maybe by that email or something, as far as, and I guess this is more addressed to DHS than anyone else, as far as what DHS's plans are for the park and for the park, basically.
But just to clarify, to make sure there's no confusion, you mentioned twice now a meeting. I don't think there is
Anything established yet?
I think they're going to meet, and they're going to come up with a proposal or an idea, or I don't know what you want to call it, for this gate, and then they'll inform us. That's my understanding, correct?
Yeah.
Via email,
So-
the list that everybody.
So
Well, perhaps, or it'll be. I'm picturing that it'll be an agenda item at our December meeting, and.
Well, and so since this seems like the opportune time for public, just to be utterly clear, for many people in this area, the defining characteristic of Borderfield State Park is public access to a meeting place at the border fence where people can visit with each other face to face. Now, if the design is to remove that from the park, that will, in the minds of many, many people, remove the defining characteristic of the park. Not to say there aren't a whole lot of other wonderful characteristics about the park that can be preserved and protected and improved, but that just so that as you have your conversations, it's important, I think, for you to understand that for many, many people, that is the essence of Borderfield State Park. Thank you for allowing us a chance to share that.
Is it my understanding that the federal government and DHS has no responsibility to inform the public of the structures? They are not under any obligation to inform before the structures are built?
We went through an initial, and I'm not a public relations or environmental person, so I'm ignorant about the EIS process and everything, but there was initial public involvement years ago. There was focus groups, things like that that met, and then the project kind of stayed stable for a while because of the court challenges and environmental issues. And when the waiver was issued by Secretary Chertoff, then the project went forward. But there was initial public discussion prior to that.
But part of that waiver, it's my understanding that there is no public responsibility from the Department of Homeland Security to say, this is where we're putting the fence, this is where we're putting the gate, and this is what it's going to look like. They don't have any responsibility.
That's the part I can't answer. I'm just not sure.
Some of these questions that you're asking us, like, I mean, we don't have the answers for, but I would think that if the state park sets up this question and answer thing, then I'd be more than happy to, if they get a list of the questions that they can't answer, then I'll try to get the answer for you guys.
Yeah, and clearly one of the first things that I'm going to be working on is finding out whether those plans are available to the public. And if they are, I'll get a PDF and I'll send out an email announcing that they're now available in our website. So, I mean, that seems like the most pressing issue out there. So I'll just have to find out how public, if they're available, if those are available, as a PDF to the public, and I'll get it on our website if they are.
And Jim, the other thing we'll find out about is whether or not that statement of work for the contract is a public document such that we can make it available to people.
That's actually what I meant.
Yeah.
Those are the plans I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, so the contract statement of work.
Thank you.
Okay, well, it's 3 o'clock, and we're usually pretty good about ending on time. Now, every